Howdy, howdy, and welcome back to Gale FFTCG. I'm Serah, your host, and today, you know it, you love it. It's the Fire Rarity review for the new set, Hidden Legends. So I'm going to choose one fire card from each rarity and tell you why I think they are particularly good to get a hold of in the early days before the set sells out everywhere, etc. So, starting things off in our common slot, we've got Salamander, or Pig Knight from Pokemon? I'm not quite sure, but I love it anyway. It is just adorable. 3 CP EX Burst Summon. You choose one forward and up to one other forward. You deal the former 7,000. And if you control 5 or more backups, you also deal the latter 7k. Or 5k, sorry. It seems like this card is really quite good with Magissa. Time will tell, but I think this card is just a fantastic little common, and it's cute to boot, and you know I'm all about that cuteness. So, yeah. One thing I'm going to be doing in this video that's a little bit different is the new priming keyword, which I haven't covered yet, but if you want to find out more, let me know in the comments below, and I will jump into that. But, long story short, priming cards come in pairs effectively. One is a more powerful version of the other, or one is supposed to represent another form of the other. So I'm going to be doing, throughout the rest of these set reviews, the card that is priming and the card that primes into that card. So they'll come in pairs. We have Joshua, who's a 1 CP 3k dominant, which there's a little bit of relevance here, but I won't cover that just now. When Joshua enters the field, you can choose a job icon or job dominant in your break zone and put it on the bottom of its owner's deck, which is pretty good. We haven't really seen a lot of those kind of effects. We've seen Wall Trill in the past that could do that, but this is kind of a newer effect, so it's kind of nice. Joshua also has priming Phoenix 16, which is the card that you can see there on the right. You pay 3 fire CP, and basically you search your deck when this card comes into play, but paying that cost, and Phoenix just enters play on top of Joshua, having Joshua's name, but being 7,000 power. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Phoenix by itself is just a 4k icon. It's forward, or 4 CP, 7k forward, sorry. When Phoenix 16 attacks, or when Joshua primes into Phoenix 16, choose one fire forward of cost 2 or less in your break zone and play it onto the field. This is insane because of cards like Zidane. Being able to play the multi-element Zidane out of the bin for basically no cost is insane. And if you can give this Phoenix haste, you could potentially get back 2 things. There's a lot of really amazing cards here. Fire seems to be the kind of priming element of choice, and you will see that as we go on into this video. But yeah, I'm super excited for these. Also, they're both rares, so Pauper players rejoice. I know that the Slice and Dice guys from Nottingham are going to be super interested and excited to have these in their Pauper cube. Right. Moving on to our hero. I was unsure which hero to pick. There were some good generic ones, and there were some interesting ones. And I decided to go with the interesting ones, because generic good stuff, yeah, it's nice, but early days of a set, you really want to test it out too. So, Takatsugu, 9 CP 9k, type 0. When Takatsugu, wow, that's going to take me a while to remember. When Takatsugu enters the field due to your cast, so you do have to play it from hand or off of something that casts, you may search up for up to 2 fire forwards of cost 2 or less and play them onto the field. Already, I can hear people saying, Zidane! Yes, Zidane. 2 CP multi-element Zidane is just going to be really good with this card no matter what. I'm sure there are other 2 CP fire forwards that are just as potent, but that's the first one that springs to mind. And when a forward other than Takatsugu, hey, I'm getting there, enters your field, you choose one forward opponent controls and deal it 2k damage. So I think this might also be really good with Lefthea, something that increases the damage, and then as soon as it enters in the later game, maybe you hit 5 backups, you play this, you get 2 other guys out, and then if that's Lefthea, then you're dealing potentially 8k, and if you have more damage, then Lefthea's dealing an extra 4k to something. Super interesting as a card, and I think this is going to at least, if not see play, at least be worth experimenting with. And finally, in our legend slot, we've got 2 more priming cards. We have Clive, who primes into Ifrit. 4 CP, 8k, haste, priming Ifrit, so you can pay 1 red and 1 generic to, when you play Clive, play Ifrit as well. On top of Clive, when jump icon forwards and jump dominant forwards other than Clive you control, gain plus 1k. And when Clive deals damage to your opponent, discard your hand, then draw 2 cards. This card is just really good for tempo. I could see aggro decks wanting to play this. Basically anything that wants to play a lot of cards really quickly and then rebuild their hand. Playing Clive from empty is just insane. Category 13 really likes this card early. If you could play down a couple of forwards, maybe you play 2 CP Light Lightning and Clive, and then you attack and you do your stuff, and then you draw 2 cards. That's really good for coming off of empty. I really like this card. I think it's great. Ifrit, however, is just as spicy, and these are both definitely worth their legend slots. Ifrit is a 7 CP 10k with haste. Already that stat line is just incredible, especially if Clive is playing it in for a cost of 6. That's really good. When Ifrit enters the field, deals damage to your opponent, or when Clive primes into Ifrit 16. So if it ETBs, if it deals damage to your opponent, or when Clive primes into it, you choose one forward opponent controls and deal it 10k. That's just going to clear boards. It's insanely powerful. It's just such a crazy tempo swing in your favor, and I think this is great. On top of that, it also has a special. You choose a forward, deal it 10k damage. That's great in and of itself. However, it's even better when you realize that priming characters share a name. So you can pitch copies of Clive or copies of Ifrit 16, and you can basically do a ton more damage just on the stack of its ETB or the damage trigger or whatever else. It's just crazy. These cards are amazing. I think these are some of the best legends I have seen in a long time, and I'm excited to play with them. So yeah. Let me know in the comments below what other fire cards you are so super excited to see. And yeah, I will be putting out the rest of these videos pretty quickly, all pretty much back to back. So until next video, hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week.